Welcome to Healthy Lifestyle with Lori Anne. I am Coach Lori Anne. Our goal here at Healthy Lifestyle is to educate, empower, and inspire you to fulfill a healthy emotional, spiritual, and physical life so you too can feel empowered to live the life you have always wanted and dreamed. Welcome to the show. I hope you're having a beautiful day. We're going to have a beautiful time today because we have a special guest on who is so inspiring. I'm just totally in awe of her. And of course, on Healthy Lifestyle, we're going to give you some verbal caffeine to light you up with possibilities. So today on our show, we have Veronica Viccora. She is just an absolutely amazing human. She is an adult beginner ballerina, proving that it's never too late to learn how to dance and follow your dreams. And I love that about her. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad that you're here. So, so at the ripe old age of 30, you decided to follow your dreams and become a ballerina. And anyone who listens to my show knows that I don't care what your age is. If you have a fire in your belly to do it, just do it. So tell us a little bit of the backstory about the how, what, when you got involved and started to follow your dreams, my girl.
Yeah, dancing was something that I always had a passion for my entire life. But when I was younger, dancing can be very expensive. So my family didn't really have the means to put me in traditional training. So when I was 17, I said, okay, I'm working a million jobs. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go for it. I'll pay for it myself. I'll make it happen. And I reached out to a studio very excitedly saying, hey, can I join your classes? I know I might have to join with younger kids, but I'm fine with that if you're fine with that. And what I was expecting was them to say, no, you can't be involved with the kids. Like I expected that. But what I didn't expect was her to say there was no point in me trying at all
No
because
way.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, balloon, pop, bubble, done.
Yeah, totally crushed. Totally, just dreams totally crushed.
Oh my God.
So, yeah,
How do people do that? That is not okay.
it's very common in the ballet world and the dance world. So, yeah, this person that I had never even really met in person, we were just speaking over the phone when I was inquiring about paying you to take classes at your studio, just went on to say that there would never be any hope for me. My body had developed all wrong. It was something that I would have had to have started when I was like 2 or 3 years old. And I just gave up at that point because I thought, this is a professional. I didn't think to question someone who's clearly much more educated on the situation than I am. But fast forward 10 years later, I decided to move to New York and I found a dance studio that I had always been dreaming of. And I just said, I think I want to give it a try. It doesn't have to go anywhere. It doesn't need to mean anything other than, just healing my inner child and following this passion that I've always had. And when I got into my first class, I saw people of all shapes, all ages, all sizes. Like there was so much diversity, so much space for all of us.
Yes.
It changed my whole world.
Yes, 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 yes. It's so funny that you tell that story because I have a story. I'm a singer, right? So
Yeah.
I used to sing in studios in New York City, and a similar type of story is I was singing and the VP comes down and goes, "Oh my God, Lori Anne!" They would walk in. We'd sit in a little room and read books. They would walk in. They would give you a sheet of music. You'd go into the little booth. You'd sing the line. Then you go back into your little, room that we had. It was like a green room, but not as nice. And you never knew who you were singing for, So I'm on records and remember those things, those vinyl
Yeah.
things. Yeah, I'm on records, dinosaur age. As a backup singer, it's not a big deal, but the VP comes down and said, "Lori Anne, we want to go talk to you. Come up to my office. I want to talk to you about giving you a recording contract." Who would want to hear that, right? I go up
Yeah.
to the office, blah, blah, blah. I'm 19 years old. Of course, he makes inappropriate advances. I'm like, yeah, no.
Mhm.
And he changed his tune like on a pivot And I couldn't even process it. I came from being the most talented individual to the worst individual, overthinking, having too much of an ego because I thought who I was, that I would get a contract and blah. Oh my God. And I just like couldn't even process it. And like in the moment, I'm like, what now? So again, popped bubble. And
Yes.
I'm just like, and so I stopped singing for 10 years. And then
Yes.
10 years, I took my own voice away because of this one human who didn't have the right intention. We'll just say that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so I was sitting next to somebody in a meeting, and this woman from I don't know where, I've never seen her since. She sat next to me and she goes, "Why are you taking your voice away?" And I'm like, "Who are you?" And I was just like, "What does that even mean?" And I like looked away, I looked back, and she was gone. And then I was like, "Why am I taking my voice away?" And I became an advocate for not allowing people to bust people's bubbles. And that's when
Yes.
I became that coach, that advocate saying, no, 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 no. If you have a dream, you follow it. Don't let
Yes.
anybody bust your bubble. It's not about the how, it's about the what. What do you want? And you
Yeah.
decided what you wanted and found it and followed it and saw that everybody was there and they all had different shapes. And what a beautiful, inspiring story. So take us forward from that. So you started dancing. You can feel the joy, right? I can feel the joy when you talk about it. I'm a head to toe goosebumps right now. You feel the joy about the dancing and yumminess like that. So what was the unique struggles that you had to face being a ballerina, an adult ballerina?
hmm Yeah, so I started to share my journey online, and it was, I mean, that just opened up my whole world, and it that really actually helped.
Like a blog?
Yeah, so I had already had a YouTube channel for a very long time that
Of
I was,
course you did.
yeah, just using to share like fashion stuff, and that's a whole other journey, but it wasn't very big, not too many people were following it, and I just decided randomly one day I'm going to post this video of me dancing. And out of all of the videos that I had ever shared, that one ended up getting over 1 million views.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it just kind of signaled to me like maybe there's something here. Maybe I should be sharing more of this. And I had kind of been disillusioned with the fashion space and everything anyway. So I started to share that journey. And it was very difficult at first because I'm already overcoming these issues that I'm having, just for myself of it's not like at my first class, I said, okay, now I have no more fear and this is so easy and everything is just falling into place. I still had a lot of just a lot of trauma to overcome. And
Yeah. I mean, most of our trauma, most of our blocks come between the ages of 2 and 12. But yeah, you got it even later as well, where somebody just said, no, you can't do that, and that's happened a number of times. And now my response is watch me, you know, ever
exactly.
since that I took my own voice away. Now it's like, oh, I can't watch me.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And I still really needed to build that confidence up. But when I initially entered the space, especially online and a little bit in person as well, it just wasn't quite as welcoming as I might have hoped. And there were a lot of people telling me that I had no business sharing what I was sharing or, making fun of me for being a beginner. And it really kind of lit this fire within me that said, there's nothing wrong with being a
Yes.
beginner.
Yes.
This should
Yes.
not be something to be ashamed of. This should not be embarrassing. Everybody has to start somewhere. And I'm going to boldly share my mistakes because mistakes are the only way that we grow.
Well, that's how we learn. We learn from our mistakes. That's how humans learn.
Yeah,
So we've been brought up in a society where mistakes are bad. That's failure. Mistakes are failure. And it's not. I'm trying to change that mindset. And that's all it is. It's a belief. And a belief are just thoughts we think over and over again. And suddenly we own it. So don't own somebody else's narrative. And I love that you broke through and went, no, I don't like this. You had a mind shift. And these micro mind shifts become major pivots in our lives. And what was the key mind shifts that you had, mindset shifts that you had that really helped you finally pursue the dance? I mean, there's a lot of different levels. I know in my industry is in coaching, when I'm coaching business people and people like yourself, it's imposter syndrome is like one of my number one things that I have to contend with. Is like, who am I to do this? And that's where those little voices of saying you have no business doing it, and now you're getting people saying that to you. What did you do? Did you just say, you know what? No, watch me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, the first thing I did was cry hysterically many, many times.
I've been there, done that.
Because it just feels so vulnerable to be seen. But then once I kind of shook all of that off, I realized, what does any of this really matter? Like what does it matter? Who died and made you king or queen? Why are you the person who gets to decide what I do with my life and how I identify as an artist or as a being? That's nobody else's business other than my own. And so, yeah, I guess the key mindset shifts that I really needed to make was that this is my life and I get to define what success looks like for myself. And all of us do. All
Yes.
of us get that decision-making power. It's just that, we have this illusion that it's been taken away.
Yes, and success is defined differently for each person. So
Yes.
my success is different than what your success looks like. Just like wealth. Wealth is different. Wealth isn't about money. Wealth is about a lot of things. It's about people in your life. It's about being satisfied and finding joy. And it is money, but it's not solely money. And a lot of people miscommunicate that. So I love that you defined that for yourself and you took that power. You stepped into your CEO ballet shoes and
I love
and
that.
and you empowered yourself by saying no, this is my life, and we only get this life to go around this time. That allows us, we may come back, I don't know, but we only get this time to do this work, and our whole point being here is to learn. And how do we learn? From making mistakes. We don't really learn from successes. We just know, okay, we did that right, but we learn from our mistakes. We grow from our mistakes, and that's what you were doing. So what are the key, what's the power of being a beginner?
Oh my gosh. Oh, well, there's so much. Like we tend to kind of shy away from being a beginner, especially in the dance space and the ballet space where it's like we have to make all our mistakes in private. No one can ever see us making a mistake or messing up or being a beginner. But there is
Toxic perfectionist, right?
yes,
Yeah.
toxic perfectionism,
I get it.
absolutely. Yeah, but the power of being a beginner is that, especially as an adult, when you're going in green and new to something, you have this childlike wonder and this passion that many people by this point might have lost if they've been doing it for such a long time, or there's just a different way that you can empathize with your fellow humans and your fellow dancers because you know what it's like to have that little, oh, I messed up and that was kind of embarrassing. Like we can all just be humans together. It's the most raw human thing you can do to be a beginner. So I think that childlike wonder and that passion of, that a lot of us tend to lose by this point is so special, and we miss out on it by thinking that we need to be perfect at everything by the time we're an adult.
Yeah, or by the time we were 12,
Yeah.
sometimes we have that perfectionism syndrome that gets in the way. I tell this story about just that, is that I've never seen, and I refer back to this when somebody's having these issues, is I refer back to the fact that I have never seen a baby get up and walk and fall down and go, oh my God, Johnny saw me, I'm never walking again. They
Yeah.
don't care because it's their life and they want to learn how to walk, and they're going to just keep going because they don't know words like embarrassed. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. I mean, do I trip? Do I fall? Yeah, I went to go do this big speech in front of a huge audience. And what do? Typical Lori Anne, tripped onto the stage. That was beautiful entrance. What a beautiful moment. Now I could have been mortified and run off the stage and never spoken again. And I was just like, I took a page out of a movie I had seen, and I got up there and I said, yeah, I worked it into what I was speaking about. And I said, yeah, We can all have embarrassing moments, and everybody can fear embarrassment. Oh wait, no, I already had that, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. And laughed at myself and just was like, yeah, I'm human. I'm gonna trip. I'm gonna
Yes.
have those moments. And then we got into it. It actually was a moment that brought the room together because now everybody was in on that joke, and everybody was like, yeah, it's cool. And it makes them relax because we all have that same imposter syndrome. We all have that same issue of perfectionism. It's like we want to be good. I used to not sing out and try things with my voice unless I practiced it so it was perfect before I
Yes.
tried it. And I was working with a band, and the band was like, just do it. And I'm like, all right. And and it sounded terrible. And I'm like, I'm so sorry I'm putting you through this pain. It sounded like I was stepping on cats. And eventually, eventually I got the Susan Tedeschi down, which is very difficult singing. I got it down, and now I'm like so proud that I did that. But I'm telling you, it sounded like I was just squashing cats. It was terrible. I'm
I
like,
don't believe it. I don't
so
believe it for
terrible,
a
so
minute.
terrible. I mean, tell us a story about like one of the first things that you had that you were like, oh, for God's sakes, just the typical what I would call a Veronica.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, there's a million things. There's something every other day. I'm still desperately working on my pirouettes. I'm still, it's
Oh
just
my God, turns.
yeah, it's the amount of times that I've been in the corner of the room. Like it's very common in ballet where there's a section of each class where you all line up in the corner and then like two by two or three by three you have to go across the room, and it just gives me an anxiety attack every single time. And the amount of times that I've like tripped and totally just fallen on my face or chickened out and not gone or whatever, like it's numerous, it's just countless, but it does, as you say, bring us all together. Like it brings that room together to see that it's like, you know what, when she messes up, okay, thank God, because we don't all have to be perfect. It's okay.
Yeah, yeah. You actually give everybody a permission slip when you do it and you laugh about it. It's like, all right, that's it. Knowing me, I would probably like skip across the room because I was just like, all right, whatever. So,
Yeah.
but what does it feel like? What does it feel like to say, I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it, and then taking that brave, courageous step out and just doing it and saying, whatever happens, happens. What does that feel like?
It is so liberating. It's the most liberating feeling because you realize even if it's not perfect, even if you fall, even if you mess up, you get up and you realize no one died. We're all still here. It's okay. You just move on, and it can just be so joyous.
Yes, and you did it. You did
Yes,
it. That
yes.
feeling is just elation. I know I did something with a motorcycle, and my listeners have heard it before, where I was going out the first time. I was at the end of my driveway. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. I was meeting people really early in the morning, and I'm sitting at the end of the driveway, looking to the right, looking to the left. There's nobody driving at 4 o'clock in the
No.
morning. So I'm just procrastinating. I'm like, just go. So I go across the street, I go over the curb, I go through the bush, I go over the curb. I'm still standing up. I go to the stop sign and I was like, all right, well, that's done. And I had a beautiful ride. And the way back, I was so proud of myself. That feeling was like this freedom,
Yes.
I took the risk. I challenged myself and I was able to do it. Now, what would I have felt if I had stayed home and not gone? Because I tried to talk myself out for the week before.
Oh,
And
yeah.
one side of my brain was like, what if this happens? The other side of my brain was like, I throw the bike in a truck and I bring it back.
Yeah.
If this
Yeah.
happens, I throw the truck in a bike and I bring it back. I
Right.
sell it, whatever. But if I
Right.
don't try it, I'll never know. Right? Did you have that
Exactly.
feeling?
Yeah, yeah. I that's the feeling that drives me forward for everything in my life because I really have just gotten to this point where I no longer fear what's going to happen if I do it. I fear what's going to happen if I don't.
Yes. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that like it's that comfort of okay, thank goodness I don't have to try something scary that keeps us all so sedated. But you wake up and realize at a certain point in your life, this is not that was just like drinking a slow poison. I thought it was good for me, but now I am wildly unfulfilled. I don't have anything to look forward to. And what would have happened if I had tried all those things? I don't feel that way anymore. I feel so fulfilled constantly. And even when I'm messing up, even when I'm making mistakes, I'm just so joyous about it because it's like I'm doing it.
You are, and the big smile on your face. I love it. It's veronicavicora.com to get
Yes,
more information about you, right?
yes.
If they can reach out, I know that you have programs out there for beginners and for adults. You have actually adult beginner ballet workshops in New York City that you do. And I love that you provide a shame-free space for all dancers, which is great because I would go into something like that. For the same reason, I don't enjoy going to gyms because I'm like, I don't even know what to do when I get there. I was like, I don't even know what this machine does. So having someone like you inspiring me to do that and to get back into the dance and things like that is exciting. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with Veronica, be even more inspired and elated by this beautiful human. You are listening to Healthy Lifestyle on JVC Broadcasting. I'm so glad that you're here. Stay tuned. We will be right back. Welcome back to Healthy Lifestyle with Lori Anne. I am Coach Lori Anne. And if you would like to be a guest or lift up your business, product, or non-for-profit, please just email us at healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. That's healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. We're also located on all the platforms, so we would like it, actually love it, if you would like, follow, share, subscribe, I don't know, carrier pigeon, whatever you need to do. But just come and follow us because we have beautiful people like Veronica on, and you will learn so much from these yummy people and really be able to dip your toe into different subject matters here on Healthy Lifestyle. And that's why we do that. So please, and if you have a question or comment, email us there too, healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. Remember, any communication regarding our guests will be located following this recording. And it also gets podcasted. So follow us around. You'll find us on YouTube and you'll find Veronica there as well. Veronica, speaking of which, you have a YouTube channel, don't you?
I do.
And that is what?
It's my name, Veronica Viccora. That's Viccora.
With Veronica, right?
Yeah, just Veronica Viccora.
Yep, I got it. Awesome. Okay, so that, and then they can follow you and see I've seen some of your videos. They're so good and they are inspiring. You're like, you're trying stuff and you're just like, okay. And it does make you want to dance. And I like the music you picked, by the way, too. Very
Thank you.
So before we went to break, we were talking about the power of being a beginner. It's like, this is the chance to like, just soak it all in like a sponge and just don't worry about stuff. You'll learn it. I know that the best athlete, the most successful person in the world didn't start that way. It was practice, 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 and learning it along the way. We learn along the way. But here's the question. Why do we resist taking chances? Because I know 92% of the people don't take action. Only 8% of us do. That's why I'm a take action success coach, because I want to get that number up. I'm like, that's not acceptable. We need more people taking action. So why do you think people resist? And how are we going to heal our inner child in order to stop that resistance?
Well, I think the main issue, and you probably talk about this all the time, is that the function of our brain is to keep us safe. And that is really what yes, that is what it wants for us. It wants us to be safe. And it really can't make the distinction between a bear coming to attack us and us walking into our first dance class in New York City. Like, it feels just as scary. And the brain is saying, no, 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 that's going to be so bad and it's going to be unsafe for you. So taking those risks, your brain's initial response is, this makes me uncomfortable, this makes me scared, it's gonna come up with all the reasons why you shouldn't. And it can be really, really difficult to combat that, especially when, as you said, only 8% of people are action takers. And so a majority of the people that we surround ourselves with are probably going to tell you, no, you shouldn't do that. Why, why even bother? What's the point? Everyone is just kind of feeding this inner narrative that we're all facing. And it makes it really difficult to step outside the box.
And talking to people like the bubble poppers we were talking about, that first teacher that you spoke to, yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I call it the rut-row factor. It's rut-row. I'm scared. I'm out of my comfort zone. And I actually am more comfortable being uncomfortable now than comfortable, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Because I know I'm growing. So it's a lot more comfortable. But yeah, in order to stop that, we need to just recognize it starts with awareness. We need to recognize, wait a minute, that's just my system coming in. I'm safe. Everything is fine. We're going catastrophic automatically. And that's how we're thought to think. It's like worst case scenario. This isn't the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is you brush your knee. You don't do it well. You have to learn. You have to train more. That's the worst case scenario. When you put it in that perspective, again, it goes back to the baby. You just keep picking yourself up and not worrying about what anybody else thinks. And that's one of the freeing things I learned was it's none of my business what anybody else thinks. It's only what I think about me. And it's not what anybody says to me. It's what I say to myself when other people stop talking. So the people around us giving those warnings, that ruh-roh moments to us and saying, oh, you shouldn't do that. Oh, blah, blah, blah. What do you say to them? Because it's really their fears coming out, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I
Well
guess.
intentioned.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, that is another key mindset shift that I've needed to make is that I now acknowledge, oh my goodness, I can see your fear, I can just see it. And I used to be the type of person that was very intimidated by what other people thought of me. And if someone spoke with, a loud enough voice to say, you shouldn't do this or you should do that, I would just say, well, okay, even as I shared in my story. And now I've just taken this power back for myself and realized it's just an opinion. It's just an opinion.
One person's opinion
Exactly.
and
Yeah,
not yours.
absolutely.
And
Yeah,
don't you deserve an opinion too?
exactly. Well, I think so.
Yes, I do too. I think everybody does. So,
Yeah.
and you're not asking me to do it. You're doing it for yourself. So
Right.
it's your actions
Right.
that you're controlling. So I like that. It's just one person's opinion. And even if they're in a position of authority, even if they're
Yes.
one of those people you may look up to, just listen to what they're saying because sometimes you can hear their fears. And we have to look at their intention behind telling you what they're telling you.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we don't know that dance teacher who told you that. We don't know if she was having a bad day. We don't know if she didn't have any more room. We don't know if she doesn't like teaching older humans as opposed
Right.
to little ones. And to identify that on herself would have been probably more productive for you without destroying or trying to destroy what you wanted. But I love that you intentionally said no. I'm going to do this and I'm going to follow my joy and I'm going to follow my bliss. And that's what you're doing. And your energy is always so beautiful. I also know, PS, everybody who's listening, there's also a dance line. There's a designer line that she has that is a killer too. So go to her website. It will be just so good for you on so many levels. So so much fun. I love that you talk about celebrating yourself as a dancer. Talk more about that. I love it when you talk like this.
Yeah, well, I think that every person, I might be a little bit biased, but I think that every human is a dancer. And I really do believe that. I think that we had a form of movement to music before we even had a spoken language. That's powerful. And that's something that so many of us forget, especially growing up in America, where it's a little bit more like we're a little shy, we're a little bit more reserved in that way. And, there's many people that are like afraid of dancing. And it to me, it's the most human that you can be is to dance. It doesn't have to be ballet. It doesn't have to be choreography, but to just let music channel through you and move through your body. that is just the most magical feeling. And I think that if we all listened to that part of ourselves, we would actually realize that it feels too good to not do.
Yeah, that's why we have singers who sing only in the showers. I'm like, sing out. It's not a big deal. My partner was told that he was a terrible singer. P.S. He's not. And because of it, he wasn't singing. I'm like, you sing. You sing because first of all, he has a beautiful voice. Second of
Yeah.
all, he loves it. You could see the joy come out when he sings. And I know closet dancers and things like I used to be one of those. I'll do it. I don't care if it's in Elaine. Remember Elaine from Seinfeld? I don't care if it looks like Elaine. It doesn't matter. I'm having fun and
Yes.
feeling of motion. And music is a passion for me. So moving to the music is just, there's just something about it. Can you put your finger on it? I can't put my finger on the sheer joy I feel through music and movement.
Yeah, it's just, it feels like, spirit. Like that is my form of meditation. That is my form of just like being a spiritual being because we are music and you're allowing yourself to be the vessel, be the channel for that music, which, by the way, music is also something innately very human and creative and spiritual. So it's all one magical thing. And I don't personally believe that life is about waking up every day and driving to the office and hating your life and then coming home to do it all again. It's about so much more than that. And
Yes.
I think music and dance and the arts, like that is the essence of it all.
Yes, I think life is about finding the joy, finding what that means to you, defining it for yourself, and just chasing it till you find it, and not putting any kind of limitations on yourself, and just try it. Like, what's the worst that could happen? What's the
Exactly.
worst that can happen, right? So just try it. I know you have so many accomplishments, and I feel like a proud mama when I talk about it. Is that you set up the ballet workshops, which I want to talk more about. You did your first Nutcracker, right? Getting on point. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Just amazing. And my favorite, which I just hinted about, is let's talk about starting your ballet clothing line. I want to hear about it, girl.
Yes. So, oh my
What was the
goodness.
inspiration? What made you start? Your husband, Jeff? Tell me. And he's wonderful too. Shout out to Jeff. He's awesome.
Shout out to Jeff. No, I would not say that he was the inspiration behind the clothing line, though he is very supportive and sweet of everything I do. But
Darn, I'd love to see him walking around in a tutu.
yeah, he's gonna wear one of my little off-duty ballerina hats one of
Yes,
these
yes, I
days.
love it.
But no, the main inspiration was that as with many of the things that I've created through my work, I've just looked around and seen that the ballet space has traditionally catered to one very specific kind of person. And I don't always see, someone my age being represented. I don't see the other beautiful human beings out in the world being represented. And I wanted to create something that felt like it could be a home for everybody who has a passion for dance.
Amazing.
So it's just, it's under my name, my line, Veronica Viccora, and it's really all about celebrating the ballet misfits of the world.
I love that. And I don't think that they're misfits. I think everybody is just absolutely perfect. I come from the same place that you do. I'm like, why? Why not? Why can't we do that? And I'm a curvaceous girl. Since I was very young, have been curvaceous, and I'm proud of that. And I was so happy when Jennifer Lopez came into the picture because I was like, oh, thank God, someone with hips. I'm so happy. And it was
Someone
like,
with a
okay,
butt.
yeah, someone with a butt, because being curvaceous, that's what we have, and just celebrating who we are as we are, and not trying to fit into this one box. I just think it's so much easier for society to put everybody in this box and make us all look like that. And if we all look the same, we'd be so boring. And all of us are so beautiful as ourselves. That's why it's unique. Why are you unique? That's why
Yeah,
we're supposed to be unique, and each of us should come and show up as ourselves. And that's where that being genuine comes in. Although I think sometimes now that word is kind of overused, but that's
yeah,
really what we're trying to do, is just be who you are. Just be a human being and try and go out there and dance and be inspiring. I mean, you've done, when you made this decision, you lit yourself up, you started doing the blog, you were doing the dancing, you started a ballet line, you have your workshops. Let's talk about the workshops. Talk more about, like, what are the workshops like? If I was a newbie dancer at my age, don't do math, what would that look like for me?
Well, you are just a mere 21-year-old,
Oh,
right?
see, and this is why I love her. Thanks, Veronica. Apparently, we're
Um,
lying on the show today, so but I'm going with it. I'm good.
Yeah. So yeah, the workshops came about because I myself was looking for a space where I felt comfortable. There were some classes that I walked into where I didn't feel welcome. And a major part of what I do to share and help inspire people is by capturing my progress. And that is just like a huge no-no in the world of ballet. We do not capture remember, we do not like ever make it seem like we're doing anything wrong. So I was really looking for a space where I could go in and kind of just be myself. And if I want to set up my camera and get a little picture of me messing up or whatever, it wouldn't be a big deal. And so that's kind of where it started, was creating a space where people could document their progress. But it kind of mushroomed into something so much bigger and so much deeper. And the ethos really became about just being a shame-free space in general, welcoming anybody of any age, any talent level, any body shape or size, to just say, no one is expecting you to come in and know all of this already and be perfect and have perfect turnout and the right body and all of it. It's just come as you are. Let's have fun. Let's all document the journey, because sharing all of our journeys helps everybody to see that, oh, there's others like me out there.
Yeah, yeah. And isn't it interesting that when you work with a professional coach, like if you were doing gymnastics and you work with a professional coach, they video what you do and you go back and you play back. When you're a professional football player, they video the game and then they go back to the playbacks, and what are they doing? They're learning,
Yes,
they're watching. Same thing with what you're doing. It just makes so logical sense that you would want to look at your progress and be able to look back and go, holy moly, this is what I started as, and now look where I am. Or this
yes,
is what I did, and now I finally got that turn. Ice skaters, same thing. We
yes,
videotape ice skaters and say, okay, this is where you turned your foot, and this is why it wasn't landing properly. And let's try it this way so you could picture it in your head. And we do a lot of visualizations, but we do that. And how do we do that? By seeing it, by watching ourselves do that. When we dance in front of a mirror, even ballerinas. We dance in front of the mirror to watch ourselves and how our positioning is so we can correct it. Why is this such a no-no, Veronica? Who made up these rules, and who should we speak to? I want to have a come to Jesus meeting with them.
Well, I should clarify that I completely understand why, many people going into a ballet space would not want a camera to be there. I completely understand that.
Totally get that. Yes.
There should be spaces where people can just come as they are and not have to worry about that. But again, my big question is, but why are we worrying about looking imperfect, So I don't know who created the idea that, this is not allowed and we should never do this, but I just want to create an additional space where it could be something that's allowed, because I'll tell you, the amount of things that I kept just like, it was so difficult for me to grasp. I could not get it. And even though I'm watching myself in the mirror, it's a completely different situation. And then I would look at myself afterwards on tape and realize, oh, that's what I'm doing wrong. And then I would pick it up, no problem. So it's a powerful tool.
Very, very powerful. So, advice for other late bloomers starting their creative journey.
Oh my gosh, just start. You have to just take the plunge and start. Everything good is on the other side of your comfort zone. I promise you that.
Yeah, so it's so true, so true. Just start, just take action, take that first step. It will make you feel yummy, and then you'll never go back, just like Veronica didn't go back. How is the ballet industry evolving? Is it changing? Is it actually evolving? I know you're changing it. You're saying, no, time out. We're going to create another space. You don't have to come play here, but if you want to come play with me, these are the rules to the game. So how is the ballet industry changing and dance in and of itself?
Well, I certainly hope that it's changing. And from my perspective, I do see a lot more people raising their voice. And maybe they don't have the traditional body type. Maybe they are starting later, whatever the case may be, but they're showing their passion for dance as well. And I personally believe that that is creating this entirely new landscape. And I really hope that companies and the industry overall will start to listen to that and take that into consideration. You know, I just saw the Nutcracker and back in December with the New York City Ballet, and I did notice that there were some different bodies that were not traditionally seen in the ballet space. I think there's still a ton of more room for growth, but it's happening. It's starting. So it's shifting in little steps, and I love
Well,
that.
and I love that you're paving that way. I love that. And I love that, you're being impactful on the world. So what are your dreams?
Well, how long do you have? Because I have a lot, but
About 30 seconds. So go.
well, my personal dreams are to just be the best dancer that I can be. And I don't really have any hyper specific goals at this point, but I just want to allow dance to kind of lead me. And I'm very open minded to where any of that is going to go. But on a larger scale, I do want to make an impact on the world of dance. And I want to demystify and democratize the world of ballet because traditionally it has been for one very specific person. And I believe that it is for all of us.
Inside scoop, you already are. So congratulations for that. You're already doing that. And then I always like to ask my guests to give our listeners a takeaway, something that they can take action with right now. What would you suggest that would be?
I would say follow whatever dream it is that you have, whether it's dance or anything. But, you know, I hear from so many people that they're thinking about doing it. Stop thinking about it. Just call the studio. Do a quick Google search. Start moving in that direction. But the big caveat of that is if you are told, like me, that it's not going to work for you, don't listen. Keep going until you find that space that is for you, because I promise you it's out there. Do not take no for an answer.
Brilliant. Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. Do not take no for an answer. How can they get in touch with you real quick?
Yeah, you can find me on all the socials, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube at Veronica Viccora, or on my website, veronicavicora.com. And I also have my little ballet blog called The Slipper Edit. So you can find that at theslipperedit.com/blog.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being on today, Veronica. You are magical. You need to go check her out. Thank you all for joining us today on Healthy Lifestyle with Lori Anne. I hope we have earned the privilege of your time. Look for our show next Saturday at 3 p.m. We can be found on all major platforms, and we would be so grateful if I hadn't mentioned it before. If you please like, follow, share, and subscribe. Until next time, I am Coach Lori Anne Casdia. Play a higher role, serve a higher purpose, show up for you, and show up big. Veronica, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.